This is the Woodsman's Pal. Just going to be a short video where I talk about one aspect of performance, and that's the penetration. The Woodsman's Pal is made out of basically flat stock with a single short bevel. So the penetration on this type of wood is rather low. One of the things that's difficult to actually judge when you're watching someone cut up wood is whether the penetration is good or bad or ugly. A little bit of a wrist flare that I picked up from TJ Laser. And of course the penetration into wood is affected not only by the knife but by also the wood, the type, the condition, and of course the skill and effort by the user. So you really need some kind of comparison, and what I'm going to be doing is using this alongside of two other blades just to show the kind of difference that you get. So this wood is also starting to split quite a fair bit. It's around minus 10 degrees Celsius today, not bitter cold or anything, but enough that the wood that's been subjected to it for the last few days, combined with the fact that it's been raining off and on and the temperature spiking down low, means the wood is basically susceptible to cracking rather easily. And that combined with the fact that I got a new pair of gloves on, well, I started with a bit smaller wood just to get a feel for the blade. So this is finally a sensibly sized piece of wood, and we'll just work through one section here. And I'm going a bit soft, maybe mainly because, again, this is a new pair of gloves. The wood is hard and is basically splitting at times, so glancing is rather high, so I'm not putting close to maximum force into this, which wouldn't be productive anyway from a long-term point. Fatigue rate's relatively high, but still, anyway, we work through it. Now, this is a knife by Kylie Harris. This actually has a softwood grind. It has a rather thick blade, and which is also rather narrow. That gives it a rather heavy profile. So that's what you want for cutting a wood like pine, where minimizing wedging is your main concern. But still, I hope it's obvious that the penetration is significantly higher than the Woodsman's Pal because it has that dual grind. It has both a blade grind and an edge grind. And if you want to be really specific, it has an apex grind as well, because there's micro bevel on this. But that's the benefit of having more than one grind. You basically can adjust the angles to adjust the thickness of the blade, so you just have the minimum amount of material that you need for durability and to prevent excessive wedging. So now I'll cut through a section of the same piece of wood. And I'm using a bit more force than is optimal for this, getting a little bit of wedging. And if I was doing this for an extended period of time, I'd really scale back, use probably around 50% force that I'm using here. But I'm just playing around a little bit. I only want to cut up about a dozen sections anyway. But I hope it's obvious that it works through much more efficiently. Now, this is a hardwood pattern. It's made by my Gavac. It's called the Excalibur. It has a similar stock as Kylie's blade, but it's much wider, which gives it a much leaner, tapered profile, which enhances the penetration on harder woods. And you can see I'm not really putting much effort into this here. The blade is just sort of falling through it. I did even start off with as small as wood. Again, this barely slows the blade down, and I'm not really chopping here. Much power. Okay, let's go to the decent sized piece of wood. So full blade with penetration, that's way overkill. And again, this is not close to full power here, but I really got to scale back because the penetration with even moderate effort will put the entire blade into the wood. Now of course, what you do then is just scale back on power. You don't jam the blade in that much that it binds heavily. So again, this blade processes this wood way faster with way less effort. And that's again the benefit of having multiple grinds and that sort of tapered profile. And we'll do one more section. And I'm taking care to watch out for nails here. This is all reclaimed lumber from a renovation project, and I'd rather not slam this into a 2.5 or 3-inch nail. Plus, I also don't want to have any nails that close to the cut because the wood does splinter and crack, and I don't want to get one of them in the face either. A little bit of a Babe Ruth here where I call out the exact cut I want to make. Boom goes the dynamite.